Hello everybody, I'm back with another little stream. I still don't really fully want to do a like big stream where I get back into the difficult chapters of Berwick and Rebellion Saga, so I'm gonna hold off for now and do another little development stream to get back into it slowly, and then maybe at the end of the week or at the start of the next week I'll consider doing another stream like that. So for now, we're just gonna work on FE9 again. And I've done a little bit of work since last time. Let me just tone this down a bit on my end. Let me know how the sound is and if you want me to adjust anything. But I've done a little bit of work on Chapter 5 last time. I think that's where we left off in the stream. And I want to show you. I decided to completely rework Chapter 5. And I can show you right here. Or you know what? It's probably easiest if I just load into it. So. Hey, Christian Ramamorthi! A Sticky Net, Soren, Hero. So, you will still have fog on this chapter, just not right now. I've decided to remove the fog by giving Soph infinite vision for testing purposes. You have a lot more units available at this point, because I've added a lot more units. You will have Rolf and Mist earlier. You will get access to Soph this chapter, who joins with a stiletto. You will have Valentia in the previous chapter as an additional healer. And I've decided to give all unpromoted healers Paragon, because their experience gains are just abysmal. And I'm not quite sure if I can just change their experience gains in some other way. So I'm just giving them the Paragon skill, and I'm not quite sure if it gets automatically removed on promotion. If not, I may need to make an event for that, but yeah. Then you have Mia here, who joins you from Chapter 1 onwards. And I've decided to retroactively add some things, so you will have access to, I think, a longsword or an armor slayer. I don't recall what it was. So she will be able to do a little bit more, because against these guys, she is not particularly strong, as you can see. But Soph, for example, with the stiletto, can actually deal some damage against these guys, since it's effective. So this chapter, though the clear still says defend 6 turns, now has a new goal. Instead of just defending here, which I thought would just be more boring if you do it with more units, the eastern side is now open, and this is not Gryle, this is just a generic hero. I want to give them a unique texture, so he doesn't look like Gryle, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But your goal will be to defeat Darkova as quickly as possible. He is going to be hiding out here. He will try to engage you if you get closer, so you can lure him out a little bit. But you will... The idea is Gryle is not here. Gryle left early. And Dane is actually a formidable force. They're not just some weak grunts, can't really do anything. They have some strong units here. You will face a couple of promoted units. Now, I did reduce their stats manually, but I thought it would make the chapter feel a little bit cooler if you fought some promoted enemies. Namely, you also are going to fight assassins who have a lot of crit. They can't silence you, so they're not that scary. But they will probably double most of your units. And they have a lot of crit with the card. This means that against like most combat units, like say Oscar or Ike or Titania, they won't really do any damage at all. But if you say put Kilroy, aka Riz, in his range, he's gonna get doubled for 9 damage with 40% crit chance. So these guys are mainly there to try to catch your squishy units off guard. and they'll be hidden in the trees, and they'll attempt to engage you. But the idea is, this looks a lot more fun than the base game. Yeah, it's the chapter I've been working on the most so far. Hold on, let me answer something real quick. Yeah. I've also opened up my previously private development server for my projects called Team Gladiator. You can find it in the pinned comment, and you can also find it in the description. But essentially, I've decided I want to get people more involved because I like hearing people's thoughts on stuff. So you can take a look at it. You can talk about the story. You can write supports. You can take a look at my notes. And you can even test. I currently have version 0.2 available for testing for FE9, as well as a tutorial on how to set everything up. So if you want to play, currently it's only up to this chapter. This chapter is mostly done in its structure, but not fully done in its balance. Yeah. So if you want to, you can do that already. There is one thing I wanted to do as well, and that it's not in the game yet, but it will eventually be in this chapter. And I wanted to make Soren more of a tactician, because you always hear about Soren being a tactician, but I feel like you don't really see it all that much. You see it a couple of times in cutscenes and stuff, but nothing super major, right? And what I wanted to do is similarly to how Rebellion Saga handled the advice section. At the beginning of, or well, let's just say during chapters, during gameplay, Soren will sometimes speak up and ask you if you need some help, or just mention a couple of things, right? Even if you don't deploy him. I'm not quite sure if how easy I can make it without deploying him, but I can probably just add him as like an advisor. Like, oh, Soren, if you're not deployed, you're like still in an advisory role, even if you're not on the battlefield, kind of stuff. And I wrote a talk that I want to show you guys. Just take a screenshot. Here, make it a little bit bigger. So for chapter 5, at the beginning of the chapter, reminder, Gryle is no longer here. Soren is gonna say, and this is just a rough draft, it's gonna be reworked. Ike, you need to listen to me. This is probably gonna be our hardest battle yet. I don't think I have much of a choice. Go ahead. The enemy not only outnumbers us, but also outranks us. I see only one solution to get out of this alive, with 3 paths leading to it. We need to defeat their commander and use the ensuing chaos to flee towards the forests. And then Soph, who's also going to be available at the start, says, I saw some big fancy looking guy east of here before I arrived, near the other houses. That reduces the possible paths to east or south. There were some really strong looking guys east from what I could see, but it seemed they weren't as many. And then Ike finishes with, fight a few strong enemies or a lot of weaker ones. Alright, move out. And then you will have the ability, like, you will face more reinforcements from the east, and as you can see, there's a couple of graphical bugs with expanding the playable margin of the map. I might be able to fix this down the line by making it so that you can't hover over these tiles, but I still need to figure out how to do that, and that would be like a QOL, you know, quality of life feature, so that you wouldn't see, like, maybe you could only, like, I don't know, you couldn't hover over all of this. But unfortunately, since there is no direct map editing right now, at least, or only in very limited ways, I can't really do it any other ways. But I think it's fine. You will see little bugs like this just because the tools aren't available yet. But you will have 2 options. Either you attempt to go south, where you will face a lot of unpromoted enemies, and then have to try to break through some one of these guys. The fence, by the way, it doesn't block your movement. I thought it did, but it's purely graphical. I kind of want to remove it, but I still need to figure out how. And then you can rush towards Zakova. The other route is you attempt to go through the east, where you will face a pretty strong hero here, And then have to attempt to kind of go through the Vanguard, which is not as heavily guarded in numbers, but you will face promoted enemies here. This is an ex-general. He looks like a warrior just because I couldn't figure out how exactly to add in generals with axes yet. So this just looks like a warrior for now, but it will eventually be fixed. This is supposed to be an axe general. And you will face a sniper here with a great bow. And this is going to be one of the new weapons I added as well. You now have great weapons. These are very, very heavy, but very, very strong. So you will be weighed down by these weapons for most of the game unless you have a very good strength stat. But even at levels like this guy gets weighed down by 12, right? But, so he only has 2 speed, but he still hits really, really hard, and he has a chance of critting you, so this guy is still pretty scary. And you will face some stronger weapons as well already this early, but I'll also add more. And it really depends on the stats. Like, a unit is only, at least in this game, is only as strong as their stats. Minor type of Colossal instead of Colossal. Hope that helps. Yeah, I do kind of need a little bit of help sometimes. It's a cool fix idea. It seems a bit like combining Soren's tactical advice to be like the Audrey in FE7, having suggestions for classes and weapons to bring. I didn't want it to be like an outright, oh, here's how you can beat the chapter. I just wanted it to give you a general goal that you can move towards, if it isn't clear yet. And I think it fits in this situation. And I want it to be maybe like, let's say you hear about reinforcements earlier, right? But you don't know when they arrive. And then Soren says like, oh, our scouts reported that reinforcements are coming and they're almost here. We really need to move on, right? And then I could even make those ambush spawns, because I like ambush spawns. I think situationally, ambush spawns can be helpful. But I'm not quite sure if I'm going to add them yet. But I'm saying if I wanted to add them, that would be one way I could do it well. Because I am of the firm opinion that ambush spawns can work well, but they're just not done very well in many of the FE games. Other than that, the chapter is mostly done. Why is Boyd named Bowl? Everybody has their Japanese names. One of the core tenets is variety, and I think I just thought it would be funny if I gave everybody either their Japanese names or another name that they have in another version. Like Miss is called Alja because that's her German name, and I just think it's more variety and I like the name. We have stuff like Lofa. I don't know, I thought it was funny and I like the variety. Yamata's pretty good. Like, some of them are pretty good, but then, you know, you have Bowl. YU is peak. YU is peak. Yeah. But yeah, I was just gonna work a little bit more on this chapter. As I said, Fog of War is not currently in for testing purposes. So we're just gonna attempt to push through the east, because I tried the east out earlier. Normally you can't go east, so I want to make sure that you can go east here. And Soph with the stiletto can actually contribute. What is Soren's name? It's Sneederino. It's Scenario. Scenario. Which is also alright. Yeah, the entire map is expanded. The goal is now to defeat the boss quickly, and you will face more and more reinforcements, so you really need to hurry up. And there's strong reinforcements too. So we're also going to attempt to try to push through here. The Tiamat axe, I think I'll just make this a colossal axe, because that's essentially what it is, but I wasn't quite sure what it was before. So this is essentially just a heavy but accurate axe that helps Titania actually jagging around. So we want to try getting some damage in on this guy. Did you make the right path of the map? Oh, it was always there. So how it works is normally the map is cut off at like about like this point. Everything right of here is not playable. You cannot put your cursor there, but it's in the game for cutscenes. And what I did is I increased the playable margin, which means that this part is now playable. It was always there, it just wasn't, you couldn't enter it. There was also a gate here that was closed that you couldn't move through, but we figured out how to remove it, so you can now move through it. Let's see if we can... Yeah, Gatry does some good damage here as well. So I'm not 100% happy with the chapter yet, but I think it's in a relatively good position so far. Let's see if we can get a crit. Nope, that's unfortunate. Not quite sure if I can... Yeah, I don't think I can kill that guy, actually. Unless I, like, shove Ike. Let's put YU here. It's gonna be a bit problematic, but I guess I can just block them off. Now, keep in mind, normally you would have an additional Armor Slayer here, but I added it retroactively, so you just don't have it yet. Get the base earlier. It's something I am not really considering, actually, so far. Because I like how it is structured for now. Also, this is still glowing, but it's not actually a defense chapter. I just haven't figured out how to remove it yet. I'm not using any stat boosters so far, because I want to see how doable this is without stat boosters. No Fog of War. There will be Fog of War. I'm just removing it for testing's sake, because I want to see how the units move, if the AI is set correctly and stuff like that. And there's a couple of things I'm noticing here already. I think one of the things I may want to do is reduce the defense of all of these generics just by like a little bit. They're all higher level than they normally are. And I think their defense, as you can see from the damage output here, it's just a little bit too high. I mean, Mia and Ike are not particularly strong characters, but even somebody, I guess Boyd does pretty well against them. But for Boyd, I increased his strength by a good amount. Is Ike getting an HP buff? Because I always had to give him the Chapter 1 Angelic Robe so he doesn't die. I mean, I can consider it. But we're gonna adjust things as we play. And I think one of the things I definitely want to adjust right now is the enemies here. They have too much defense. And that just means everybody clumps up. Gryle Joint Dane. It's a generic hero. I still need a custom palette for them. But I haven't gotten around to that yet, so it just looks like Gryle for now. So how you can add change stats is you have these windows, these hex values. The first 3 values here do nothing. I have no idea what they do. The last value, I have no idea what it does. But all the stats in between correspond to one of the stats. Like this is HP, strength, magic, skill, speed, luck, defense, and res. And if you, for example, type in 5 here, that increases that stat by 5 for this particular unit. But if you do FF, for example, it reduces it by 1, because it's the first 128 numbers are positive and the last 128 are negative. So we want to reduce the defense by, let's say, 3 points, which would mean FF is 1, FE is 2, FD is 3. So we'll do 3 points here. And I think I'll copy that for these guys to FD. And see how it feels then. Maybe not this guy. This guy is pretty high level. He's, you know, you could say somewhat of a commander. I kind of like the idea of adding a couple of units which are kind of like commanders. because it shouldn't feel like a slog, right? That's one of the issue that I think many of the FE difficulties kind of face. Is that... Oh, I did FB. What's the OSP, by the way? King of Fighters 2 Unlimited March. Unlimited Match, Unlimited R, Omega Rugal theme. The issue is that they buff stats across the board. And that's what Maniac Mode does as well. And you just end up with enemies which are strong, which are fun to fight, but take way too many hits to die. And it just ends up feeling like a slog. I think I'm fine with the other enemies so far, so we're just gonna keep playing for now. Never underestimate the lengths an FE fan will go through to make things like this. I would have gave up 5 streams ago. Yeah, it really is a passion project, but, you know, I feel like Tellius is, in regards to Fire Emblem, it is the definition of missed opportunities. There are so many things in Tellius that look really, really cool on paper, but in practice they just don't work. They simply do not work. Like, there's so many good ideas. What's the average amount of hits on enemies to die? Well, I've reduced the amount of hits here. I think my Ike is also strength screwed. So this guy should go down in like maybe 2 rounds. But like, for example, Boyd, if he's able to double some of these guys, he does some good damage. I've increased his strength growth to 80 from 60, I'm pretty sure. And I think I gave him like +1 base strength. So he feels rather like an actual glass cannon now, which is kind of how he feels already, but just to a lesser degree. And as you can see, Rolf actually kind of goated. I've been training him a little bit, but oh yeah, all bows got a small might increase because of them being effective damage. It also comes with insight, which is kind of whatever. I mean, his skill is already really good. He's probably gonna hit regardless, but it gives him a little, you know, a little extra. Yeah, if there's one thing Boyd should level, it should be strength. His other stats and issues still kind of apply, but he has kind of a unique role now, which I think is more interesting than just, you know. So these guys don't move, and I kind of want to see how you do here. Yeah, see, this guy is scary. You don't really want to fight that guy, like, head on, unless you have to. There's archers here. You know what? Who can I put? I think I'll actually block this off with Shinon. And then let's... Ike is so squishy, though. Do you think Braum smells like bacon? No. He probably smells like a farm. Because he's a farmer. Now, normally I would put Gatry here, but this hammer is really putting in some work. Now, I could just restart it all after I've reduced the stats here, the defensive stats. What you can also do is you can try to make like a formation right here, which probably would have been a better idea, honestly. One thing I do want to do is I want to lure in the assassin with Oscar. His strength is pretty weak, but he still should die. Yeah, we'll just see how this goes. What's up, Callum? Yeah. Your healers should be able to take at least 1 round of combat. Let's see, heal up. Yeah, so the weird thing about Alincia is she doesn't have a healing animation, actually, even though this class is called Bishop. So I'm using her take damage animation for the heal animation. Which looks a little bit silly, but if it works, it works. Right, we're also gonna heal up here as well. doesn't get doubled. Yeah, so the enemies still try to seize, and I'm really not sure why. Because I've changed their AI. But they shouldn't. So I still need to work on that as well. They try to seize even though it doesn't give you a game over anymore. Yeah, see, he crit right there. Twice even, but... Did you change how knives work? It's difficult for me to do so. Because I can't really make them 1 to 2 range, I think. Without them breaking apart. Like animation-wise. I also think I probably should move these reinforcements by a turn. Turn 2 ending seems a little bit far. Let's do that right now. I've added a couple new ones. Like you can have a Radiant Knife, you have the Beast Killer, and I can maybe increase the stats of them a little bit. But about this thing map, adding another side is that if you prioritize one side, you get overwhelmed by the other two. Yes, yes, that's intended. The idea is you're completely overwhelmed. The enemies are not only stronger than you for the most part, but also more numerous. And the only way that Ike's mercenaries, or Gryle's mercenaries, can get out of this right now, because Gryle is not here either, is to rush the boss, cause chaos, and then run off to the woods. In the changed story, what I want to do is, since Gryle is not there to mediate, you know, the argument about the Lynchia, it will be more chaotic, and they won't notice that the enemies have gotten closer until a flaming arrow flies in and sets the entire base ablaze. So there's going to be fire effects here too. I think I can make that work in the script, but I'll have to look at how to do that as well. It's just cutscene stuff for now though, and I don't want to work on actually changing the dialogue until I feel like it's in a good spot. Now, one thing I think I do want to do here as well is this guy is... I mean, he's supposed to be pretty strong, but I still feel like his strength might just be a little bit too high for this moment. Couldn't you just choke that one tile choke point with Ike? You mean this one right here? Yeah, kinda. The thing is, I can't really change the map. I can't change the layout, really. I can add objects, potentially, but that's a lot of work. I can remove objects, but that's less work, but that's also doable. But I can't really change how the map is structured. I can't add a wall somewhere or remove a wall. So, my idea was, you will face reinforcements from here, and if you take too long, I can even have a check where if like you're spent too long in this area, you will have reinforcements from the bottom here too. I could even say like, okay, at a certain point, all enemies that are like, let's say from here to here, if you're past a certain point, they will be like, okay, we cannot get through the top here. We're gonna move down and flank them from the other side. Because I wanted to show Dane as being, you know, a competent force that fucking blitzkrieg through Crimea, and not like, as Hero says it, a bunch of bums. Anyways, we're gonna change this guy's strength stat. I think we're gonna reduce it by... Let's reduce it by 3, so that's FD. So he should have 10 speed, 10 strength. He will still have 0 speed, he will be doubled by everything. So you can easily kill this guy, but you just shouldn't make him attack you. So he kind of puts like a danger area on these 2 tiles. Because even though he doesn't outright kill anybody, he can crit them, and that causes a lot of damage. Could you make it a lose condition on a certain turn, like on turn 20 a billion paladins spawn in and it's an instant loss? I don't like outright lose conditions. I think what I would potentially do is if you take really, really long, like turn 20 as you said, you could have a bunch of paladins spawn in, but you will still have the option to finish the chapter quickly after that. And keep in mind, you don't have any supports at this point, so Ike is really not as strong here. I mean, you could also use Titania and stuff, but I think I will be able to find a way. At some point, all of the enemies on the map also charge you. I could make it so that all enemies below a certain line go east to charge you, and all enemies on the left side and the top side here go towards the top to charge you. Depending on where your units are. Bad idea to spawn paladins. Why not send them in a first place, but slow knights and infantry? Yeah, I mean, what enemy types it's gonna end up as, we can take a look at afterwards, but for now, that's the idea. So, one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to change the reinforcements a little bit. And I gotta see where this is. I think it was zone. Yeah. This is what it is at the start of turn 3. Let's make it turn 4. I mean, I could even do turn 5, but you know what? Let's do turn 5. Let's do turn 5 for the first ones. But then, like, every 2 turns, you're gonna have more and more of them. And then on turn 11, Darkova will charge you. So one of the things I'm also gonna have to do is I want to add more playable characters in FE10, and a lot of them don't have much characterization as of right now. A lot of the characters I wanted to add, especially for Dane, are Dane bosses that you fight in FE9. So I wanted to give them a little bit more characterization in some points. And one of the characters that I wanted to add is Dakova. And what I kind of wanted to do for him is make him a royal of Dane, like just some minor noble, you could say. Not a royal, a noble. And somebody who cares a lot about his soldiers, which is why he uses the fire arrows, because he'd rather lure them out to lower his casualties. And once he sees that his troops are not really advancing, he goes in himself to try to finish it before more men die. If you defeat him, you don't actually kill him. In the vanilla game, you have a cutscene where, depending on if you killed him or not, if you killed him, some soldier will just tell Petrine that he died. If you don't kill him, she sends him to execution. So I will make it so that I would just combine those and say he always gets sent to execution, but one of his soldiers frees him from prison. And you won't hear about him again for this game, but you may hear about him. Maybe you'll see him in some village or something, I don't know. But it's mainly to build up, because I wanted to have him flee to Crimea eventually. Where he's on the run and then, you know, maybe he tries to get back his land or something. I don't know. There's a lot of things you could do. But that's the general gist I wanted to do for the boss, and I kind of want to set that up a little bit here. I think the reason they still go for the gate could be tied into the tile the gate is on. I only question this because SRPG Studio allows you to bind AI to tiles. It could be. I've noticed on the map, I think I've changed them all, but you should still be able to see it on the other difficulties. They have a AI sequence called All Attack 100, which is just attack anybody who you can 100% of the time. No Grail. And I think no Grail is the thing that makes them go towards the tile, or I thought so. But I removed that AI from them, from all of them, as far as I could see. And they still do it. Oh wait, this guy still has no Grail. Oh. Let's change that. But I think I removed it from everybody else. These are the reinforcements that keep spawning. They also have no Grail. I'm not quite sure why they have no Grail. It's like, It's almost like they intended to have Gryle actually fight on this map, and they made a AI for certain units so that they wouldn't attack him and would attack you instead. But he just never appears, like he just leaves the map. Gryle playable when? So I thought about that to make him temporarily playable, then decided I didn't like the idea, then decided I could do it for one chapter and make it really cool. And that is for not this map, not this map. Here. This is the cutscene where Gryle fights Petrine. And what I wanted to do with this is make it a small additional map where you only play as Gryle and you have to fight Petrine, Enna, and a bunch of generics. I wanted to show off just how strong Gryle really is, right? And this is, I think, one of the best ways to show it off, with the Black Knight just maybe watching it from the distance and then disappearing. Like in the cutscene you won't be able to select him or anything. Which I think could make the fight against the Black Knight so much more impactful, because you see how strong this guy is. Like, not only did he defeat Proc, who's one of Dane's strongest riders, and the fucking dragon, but you also see him mow down like hordes of recruits by himself. But then the Black Knight comes, this singular guy, and just fucking destroys him. And you're like, oh my god, so that Black Knight is really, really strong. So I think that would maybe increase how strong the Black Knight feels. Would it be possible to have Dakova show up in the prison chapter as a green-yellow unit? You could have Ike free him. I guess, but here's the thing. I think if that were to happen, Ike doesn't really have a reason to, like... There's two possible things that Ike would do in that situation, I think. Either he frees him and sends him to the Crimean army to be, you know, used as a prisoner exchange or something, and then he just gets executed afterwards, after he gets back, or they just don't want to have him. Or maybe he recruits him, but there's already enough armor knights in this, I think. Let me take a quick look at the character roster. I don't think this one is up to date. Yeah, because I removed Meg. Is Meg still in this? Yes, she's still in this. This is the newest one, I think. What other armor knight did... Oh yeah, you get Ludwig later. You get Ludwig. So... And I wanted to divide the armor knights into different weapons. So Gatry will be your lance armor knight. Brom will be your only axe armor knight. Meg will be gone. Then Toronio will be a sword knight. A sword general, rather. And then Ludwig... I guess Ludwig would also be an axe general, now that I think about it. Yeah. Wasn't there another general I wanted to add? I don't remember. I guess one of the more merciful lords in the series, so I wouldn't put it past him to just let him go. I would say yes for most, but considering Dakova literally burns down his, you know, childhood residence with flaming arrows and nearly kills his entire group, I think for that specifically, I don't think Ike would be... He wouldn't kill him, but he would probably not free or accept him into the army instantly either. Because it's just moments after that, and moments after Gryle, or like not moments, but only shortly after Gryle was killed. So I don't really want to make Dakova playable in this. How do you approach the bad units of the game, like Wolf or Meg? Wolf? What? Well, Meg, I've decided I don't want to add to FE10, to FE9, sorry, because I think she'd be too young. Somebody brought that up, and I think it's a good point. But generally, I want every unit to be playable. I want this to be as Iron Man-able as possible. And I don't want there to be such a huge discrepancy between the units like it is in FE10. Volug? Volug is a great unit. He's one of the best Lagoos. I don't know what you're talking about. Since we're talking possible playables in the final chapter when you have to choose a royal, you can have another choice like Lacane, who has decided to join the end since he thinks it's a one battle. I mean, I could do stuff like that, but the thing is, I am not really sure how to do the final chapter. It's so much in the future that I feel like it's not really worth thinking about it now, because by the time I reach it, so many things will have changed that I will have to reevaluate it anyways. How young Mist and Rolf are playable? I think I guess she would be around the same age, but here's the thing, I don't really see her like getting conscripted like Braum would, and I don't really see Braum letting her be conscripted. I feel like it's better if she's just a new character for FE10. Rolf. Rolf joins much earlier. He has a unique thing in having insight, and very, very high skill growth. And he has bond supports and his special Rolf bow, which is a little bit stronger. So that alone helps him a lot. But my general philosophy is every unit should be usable without like heavy taint, like say FE10 Fiona, who you need to taint on bosses for like 100 turns. I want to not have any of that. And I also don't want to have delete button characters. So for FE10, for example, I made Nyla just be a regular wolf unit, who is maybe a little bit around the same strength as Volug, but with different stats she focuses in. This is 15 and Rolf is around the same age or slightly younger, so not that young by FE standards. Mist is 15 in FE10, I'm pretty sure. I think in FE9 she is like 9? 10? I don't think she's older than that. Maybe like 13 at most. Meg, I think, is like around 18, maybe? She's 18 in FE10. Really? I always thought she was 16 in FE10. I'm not quite sure how much the time jump is. But you get the gist. That's what was planned in that one. Okay, so let's continue working. 15 in FE9, 18 in FE10 apparently, looking at the week. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like they were like, oh, we kinda want Mist to, you know, have a romance with somebody in FE10, but she's too young for that, so we're just gonna say she's 15 in FE9. What are my plans on the prison chapter? So far, none. I'll get there when I get there. I'm doing one chapter at a time. Are you going to add more magic weapons? Yes, and I already have. You have the Radiant Knife, for example. I think, is the Bolt Axe already... The Bolt Axe is already in. You have the Flame Lance and... the Sonic Sword. But I can add a couple more, like, other ones. But you will have a knife. You'll also have the Dark Bow. Or, I think it's a Radiant Bow normally, but I'm changing it to a Dark Bow. No. Add Dawn Caller as a secret weapon? No. No, I don't think so. I also changed the bands, they just give you bonus stats now. I haven't tested this yet though, so I still need to fiddle with that to see if it actually works. Any plans for a playable hero or keep it to just Grylan enemies? I was considering making Zehark a mercenary instead of a Myrmidon who promotes into a hero. I was considering that, but I'm really not sure about the idea, because I feel like he might just become a little bit too good due to having hand axe access at that point. And some people were also saying hero doesn't quite fit him. I'm really not sure. He always, out of all the Myrmidons you have, he feels the most like a mercenary, but he doesn't quite feel like a mercenary either. So I'm really not sure about it, but there's also the argument to be made, oh, you already get Stefan, you already get Mia, who you can train much earlier, who's a little bit better. Why would you use Zahark? So I'm really not sure. I'll have to see by the point. One other thing I wanted to do is you get Ragnell later, but when Ike promotes, he gets Axe access. If you don't like Merc Zahark, maybe Hero Stefan, since he teaches Ike at some point. No. Stefan feels so much like a Swordmaster. He's like probably the most Swordmaster character in the game. Like for FE10, I have other characters planned which can be heroes, but none of those are in FE9 or make sense to be in FE9. He feels like a mercenary, but not a hero. Kinda, yeah. I mean, I'll see how I do it in the end. Anyways, I think we should give the chapter another go after the couple of changes that I've made. Stefan being a hero ruins FE10. Doesn't FE9 hero have stupid caps as well? I'm not sure, but I can always change them. Which, by the way, this is one more thing I wanted to mention, because I just remembered it. I've decided every class that is unpromoted and does not have Canto has slightly better caps in specific stats. I can just get +1, I think I made Tormod get it as well. Have +1 to all their caps, other than luck, because luck is just 40, and +10 to max HP from 40. But then somebody like a Myrmidon gets 22 skill. Honestly, should make that 24. Wait. Maybe I'd make it 21 speed and 22 skill. I've not changed promoted caps so far, but like for example, soldiers get 20 more HP cap, fighters get 2 more strength cap, archers get 4 more skill cap, armors get 2 defense. Notably, the classes which have Canto, so paladins, or like cavaliers and flyers, do not get this buff. Actually, I did add it to Pegasus Knights, but I should remove that. I didn't want that in. Because I think they're already good enough, but like for example, Fire Mage, only Tormod is a Fire Mage, so I decided, okay, sure. I didn't really know what to do for Tormod, so I just gave him like +1 across the board. Wind Mages have 2 more speed, and Thunder Mages have 5 more strength. And I'll have some fun with that. I also was considering something. Did you reduce the magic caps for physical unpromoted? I thought it was 20 across the board for those. No, that's vanilla. It's only 15 actually. I haven't changed it. So there's also the thing about promotions. How I want to handle mages is mages only get the magical element of their class. So fire mages can only use fire magic. Fire sages can only use fire magic. But instead of the promotion split being either you have knives or you have staves, it's either you get all anima magic and knives, or you get staves and knives. And ideally I want to add a couple new tomes as well, so it's going to be an actual choice. Do I want this to be an offensive mage, or do I want this to be an additional staff user I can use? Because that's like, the thing with knives are, it doesn't matter how good I make them, in 99% of cases, nobody will pick knives over staves. So I'm just giving the player knives on promotion regardless of what he picks. And then... yeah, I haven't done anything with the Lagoos. I have added a mercenary class, but they just look like Ike. I don't have any other models for them, unfortunately. Dev-Den buff? Yes, Dev-Den will also be buffed. It's always said that he fights like... you know, fights like a lion, fights like a million men, whatever. but he doesn't really feel like that. So what I've done is I've increased his strength by a lot. I don't really think he needs any other changes. If he just has overkill strength, that already makes him feel pretty unique in comparison. So Khalil and Bastion will finally get Stave's FE9 penned. Yeah. Are you still considering Sonic is playable? If yes, would she be like an FE10, a mage with all anima and light? I'm not really considering her as playable anymore, because I think I would have to change... Like, doesn't she only get revealed to even exist in FE10? So I'd need to do a good amount of story changes to put it in FE9, which I'm not quite sure I want to do, but I'm not super keen on making her join anymore. What are the changes done to knives? So far, actually very little. I added a card in here, which is... I think these are just the same stats as the card, has an FE10, but with 40 crit. Instead of, like, what, 10 or whatever it is. You see her in FE9, Ike actually yells at her. Oh, yeah, another thing I'm doing is I'm looking at a video currently in like, some downtime of all the dialogue in FE9, going through it one by one and noting down any changes I want to do. If you want to see those changes again, you can take a look at the server in the pinned comment or in the video description, my development server. It's in my notes, what I wanted to change in there. I can briefly show it. So these are random gameplay notes, but story changes, I noted some things down here. You can briefly read through it if you want to, but you can also just access it if you just, you know, go on the server, and I just need to vet you and give you the role. So I see 2 people just joined, so I can do that there. It's very quick to do on my third monitor. Anyway, these are the changes. You can take a look at them. These are the general changes that I wanted to do. But there's a lot of things I write down, and there's a lot of things that aren't in yet. So just keep that in mind. Another thing I'm kind of almost considering is making this hammer not drop, but putting it in the last chapter so Boyd can actually use the hammer in this chapter. If you get lucky here, you can even get an adept proc on Soren or scenario. Soph. Bonk. Ike actually almost loses his head for being rude. Yeah. See, I don't remember all that much about it. Yeah, Shinon does really well against this guy. If you use both Shinon and Titania, you can take this guy down in like 2 turns. What we can do now, though, is we can... Let's use Ike first, because Ike can crit, and I can heal Ike. I can't really heal Boyd there. Now I think Boyd is... Yeah, Boyd is able to kill. Let's go, Boyd. Big Boyd! Can't believe it, a fighter who can actually fight. I think, I mean, let's just, no, I can't actually attack here. Let's attack here and let's put you closer. Speed and defense, nice. Enemy phase, yeah. I mean, she will survive, so it should be fine, but, I haven't really changed Oscar at all, I think. The only thing I did was I reduced his defense growth to 30, but I increased, I think, his defense and rest growth a little bit. because Oscar is essentially the defensive cavalier with his earth support and everything. And I want to lean into that instead of just making him the kill everything I am OP one. I can even put Rolf in here and maybe he will get a crit. That could be pretty nice. I think, yeah, I can't really put you there. Ooh, I gotta be careful for Alincia as well. And missed. Now the thing is, Alincia actually has a little bit of bulk. So she should be able to take a hit if necessary. How does Gatry do here? I mean, he survives it. That's the main part, isn't it? So I guess we'll make her wait there. I've also changed this limb sword to give it actually... Objective is not up to date now. I thought I changed it, but I think I need to change something else for it to actually work. Oh, that's a really nice dodge. It's a really, really nice combat. Immediately a snag here, Dawnlord. How can Soren be related to Rajayon? There aren't any other black dragons than the ones we see in Radiant Dawn, unless you plan on making a black dragon branded ex-Laguz. Well, the idea was that Rajayon is his brother. That is something somebody else brought up. And I don't really see what the issue there is. I mean, in the original one, he's related to Ashnard. And I mean, if you want to debate things like this, feel free to join the server, because I want people to debate things like this. I'm not 100% knowledgeable, and I don't remember everything about the game. So please just keep that in mind. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna give the kill to Shinon. And then, oh, I gotta be careful. Yeah. Yeah, what I can do is I can trade you the hand axe and then get an attack in right here. Get a nice crit due to the bond support. Nice. And then you can run in, trade the hand axe, and heal. And then Titania can... Oh, that's still some good damage. But we need to start whittling that guy down. Again, this is supposed to be an axe general, just I haven't quite figured out how to make that fully work. So we'll just... Yeah, I can, and all the other guys here, they can run into the assassin. He's not that scary for them. That assassin is, as I said, mainly there to assassinate your squishy units. Will do. Yeah. Can you survive 2 hits? I'm really not sure. I think what I should probably do is I can put Mia right here. And Gatry right here, and then hope that one of the archers will run in and try to attack. Oh wait, I think 2 of them can attack. Yeah, but she's actually kind of... Oh. I haven't changed the... Oh. Oh wait, that still finishes the game? I thought I removed that. I think I know what the issue is, actually. I think I know what the issue is. So, we need to take a look. She shouldn't be a game over. Not trying to be a stick in the mud butter. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The thing with me is, I legitimately don't remember all of the story elements and lore and whatever of the Tellius. The more I'm looking into it, the more I realize just how little I remember. Yeah, kinda tanky, not tanky enough. But so it's very helpful to have people who know the story and who can help me with that. Yeah, so what I did here, and what the problem is, if you take a look at the script editor, there is PID Alincia. This is the event, this is the death event for Alincia. And there used to be a game over flag here, but I removed that. As you can see, it still gives you a game over though. And the reason, and I don't know why the game does this, it's very weird. There is a startup file in the scripts folder. That is the one I edited. But there is also the same file also exists in system.cmp, which you have to extract and then edit this one because this is the one that is actually being used. It's very, very weird. Now, I did change the script already. Didn't you game over because the fort was taken? No, it's just the same Soren quote. It's just, that's what happens if the game over is called. Like, they can't take the fort, I've taken that out already. What I just need to do is I need to go here to scripts and I need to modify this one as well if I want to change the startup. And then I gotta use Lumina to repack the file. Because this is just the unpacked version of system.cmp, so I just take the folder, drag it in there, and we'll pack it again and overwrite this file. And theoretically, and we can test this real quick. Let's do save. And restart FE9. Hello, El Tormentas. I just saw that message. Theoretically, if I did it right, Alincia should just die now. Or should be able to die now, rather. No? Huh? Yeah, she will just retreat. I just haven't adjusted the dialogue. I'm just... Why is that not working? What if I do Erincia Queen? That is her... Okay, so this is the event that gets called. Place the dead background music. If... Okay, so what it does is it checks what chapter you're on. If your chapter count is lower than 30, lower or equal to 30, then it uses this event, this dev code. If not, it uses this dev code, but these are the same ones, as far as I can tell. So that's a bit weird. And these are the only ones where it's mentioned as well. That's weird. Game over. So it checks... This is the game over condition, right? It checks if Ike is alive. And if... Wait, what? Yeah, this is the event that plays that gives you the game over. This is the tile thing, where if somebody moves on that tile, it causes the game over, but I removed that. There's also only 30 chapters in this game, I'm pretty sure. Well, it probably counts the cutscene maps as well. And in that case, it's more than 30. It's only these two. Game over. And this is just the Ike die event. What about this game over? This is just a debug chapter. I'm really not sure why that gives you a game over. Because other units can definitely die. Check the raw dialogue. It should be in the common file. die. Because I did notice that not all death quotes were in the startup file, which was a bit weird. Oh, actually, you know what could be the case? It could be that the file I overwrote, had more data and had different data with like the other dev quotes and stuff. Still very weird. I also kind of hate this menu. It's so tedious to scroll through this. There's no like scroll wheel. I've heard you can just type it in, like if I type M it goes to M and then I can go to I and it goes to MI, but it just doesn't work for me, so I need to go to MDI. MDI, right, here's the dev quotes. Yeah, this just plays for dev quote. And there's nothing else, it's just a dialogue. These are Ike's 5 dev quotes. Titania's dev quote. Yeah, this is just a dialogue and nothing else. I'm really not sure. Could it be that the Alincha death dialogue sets the game over anyway? That's what I was thinking, but it doesn't seem like it. Normally there is no code called in here anyways, this is just dialogue and nothing else. So it really shouldn't. But for some reason, because I could just remove this quote from here and then there just wouldn't be any text when she dies. Oh, that's so weird. What about ending? Okay, no, there's something over here either. I'm really not sure what the issue here is. What if I maybe change the structure to be like this? Like we have event, we have the fade out, we have the background music, we have this, the talk event, and then we have enable skip. As far as I can tell, there should be no reason why there is a game over there. Because this only checks if Ike is alive. And if Ike is not alive, it gives you a game over. So I really don't get what the issue is. Like normally you don't have Alincha here, so there's no specific dev call for her either. I really don't get what it could be. Let's just go through the startup file one by one, I guess. You also have a bunch of functions here. These are not what we're looking for. It's hard-coded. Well, I'm looking at the hard code right now. Download absolute unit. I try to be. It wouldn't make sense. Well, I guess there's the main doll I can check, but it wouldn't make sense for that to be in the main doll. Can you show again the place where there is a set game over command? It has to come from there, doesn't it? Well, there's one here. And this is the startup file. The startup file, essentially, how this works is these are the scripts, the code, the eventing for every specific chapter. And then the startup file is code that is always called, regardless what chapter you're on. So if there is no game over condition for Alincha in chapter 6, or chapter 06, which is chapter 5 actually, then it needs to be in the startup. It can only be either in the startup or in chapter 6, but I can't find the code in either of them. So let's just check. The only other thing I can think of is that there is a flag that gets activated. when she dies for some reason. This is a talk convo. No, see, this is another really interesting thing. Support conversations are called here as well. Depending on what chapter you're on, you will have a different support conversation between Jill and Mist. And there's a lot of characters like this. You can actually read it up. I didn't really know that it worked like this, or I knew, but I forgot. Here, new guy, I'll give you shower patch roll as well. These are global flags. If there's anything that could cause issues, it might be this. So what I'll actually do now is I'll go to Google Translate and I'll copy all of this and see what these mean. Shinon dies. This is a flag if Shinon is dead. Gatry dies. Marsha dies. Lev. So these are global death events. Moody, I think this is Mordecai. Ryushion. Oh, this is Raisin. Where's there? Yeah, continue. Here. Shadowbringers versus Ike. Who the fuck are the Shadowbringers? And why is Ike fighting them? Oops. Yanav. Ulki. Uruki. Burger King duel? Maybe. But it's chapter 12. That's the weird part. Intelligence, 3 brothers. I should probably set this to Japanese so it doesn't accidentally pick Chinese. Information, 3 brothers. I think this has something to do with the triangle attack. Reserved. No idea what this is. That's there twice. Weird. Map 20, information conversation 20, or 3 rather. Tibarn dies. Reserved, another one. Map 4, Marsha conversation. Furuka. Oh, that's Volk. I guess in German he's called Volker with a ER, but in English he's just called Volk. Or yeah. And I guess I just used the same spelling, Furuka. So Nesara, this is Nyazala. Jill companion conditions, no idea what that is about. Defeated the Black Knight. Crimea Loyalist event. Okay, no idea what that is. And DBG's, I think, debug. I've been doing it since the beginning, so this is probably something that calls for I don't know, is always called or something if you're in debug mode. So the only one that I find rather questionable right now is this one, Crimean Loyalist event. But this is only called in the startup and I guess in one of the later chapters. But it better not be the Jill Mist A support? No. Could be for Amiti. Oh, true, it's probably for Amiti. One idea I could have for why it happens is it might be that there's a global flag which is set to 0. And if it is set to 0 and Elinsha dies, then you get a game over. But after a certain point in the story, after a certain map, there is an event which changes this global flag from 0 to 1, which means that she no longer is a game over. Because I don't think she is on the final map. I think the game over condition goes away for her. But I'm really not sure. I think that's I think that's why the oh, why is it right here? I think this is also why this is the same. I'm pretty sure the die event was right here. So, or sorry, it was right after this one. I'm pretty sure the game over event was right here, which means that if the chapter is equal to 30... No, wait, other way around. It was probably in here. If the chapter count is equal or lower than 30, you will get a game over. But if it is higher, aka probably on the final chapter, you will not get a game over event. But even that is weird, like... Okay. But... I mean, let's bring out the wiki. And we'll take a look, because I don't remember what chapter she appears in. Characters... Chapter 26. Which I think is 27 in the game's data. This should be Clash. So now let's look for Erincia. Okay. So this is the chapter where she normally joins you. This is background music event Erincia. This makes her force deployed. This makes her unable to be moved. This is the boss conversation between Renning and her, or Bertram rather. And this... What the fuck is this? It has something to do with the death conversations, but... Might get phase, might get me... It's depending on who fights him, I think he has a different death quote, I guess? Let's see what this means. Boss battle conversation. Okay, so that's just that. Let's check GF complete. Yeah, see, there isn't even a chapter-specific game over here. Because it's all done in the startup file. What horrible thing is this big-ass condition I see in 187? It's, what it does is it essentially says, it assigns a variable to every character here, and depending on if the variable is equal or not, it returns 0. Something like that. I think this is just to give him multiple death quotes or something, but this is a very weird way of doing it. So ugly, I'm gonna be sick. See, I don't have any proper programming experience, so it works. I do try to optimize things if I can. I like that. I watch videos about that, but... Okay, it's the same thing, never mind. But, yeah. Then, I guess the only thing can be that it didn't copy properly? Did Pirate Software work on the vanilla ROM? Well, no, it actually came out, and it actually works, even though it's not fully balanced. Maybe he worked on the balance of FE10. But what I don't understand... No, I did hit compile, didn't I? Let's just try it again. I've hit compile, I've hit save. It must be some issue. This music sounds familiar. It's Venus Lighthouse from Golden Sun. It must be that it didn't properly save the files. Okay, let's just give it another go. Let's just give it another go. We take the startup file from here. Let's verify that this was changed. Yeah, this was changed. So this is, it did take the save. We copy this. Put it in here. Overwrite. Oh, I think I know what might be the issue, and it's really, really stupid. But I want to test it first. So, my hypothesis right now is, on Windows, whether you write scripts with a small s or a big S, there's no issue. But on Linux, these are considered two separate folders, which means that they don't get merged into one another. So what could be is that I need to rename this to uppercase scripts. Which is weird, but we'll see. Theoretically though, I've changed it now. Oh wait, I need to repack it as well. We repack it into the system CMP file right here, and we verify, yes, this was also changed just now. So theoretically it should work now. Ike is a nepo baby like Pirate Software. Is he though? Alright. Yeah, it just works now. I guess it wasn't even the Linux issue. I guess maybe it just didn't properly save. Hey, I mean, if it works, it works. I haven't adjusted her dev code yet, but you get the gist. No idea why it didn't work the first time. Okay. Well, that explains why the code looked right then. It was right. It just works. Are you Todd Howard? I wish I was. I wish I was. It just works. Okay. So a whole lot of issues for nothing. Ike used the voice changer. His voice is like Rolf's. Thank you, Crimmy, for 7 months of ramen noodle financer. Reminder to chat. Yeah, I'm trying to look at chat. Buy Skyrim. Oh yeah, true. Actually, buy Daggerfall. Play Daggerfall Unity. That's pretty based. My dad works at Dane, and he did. You know, Ike is a senior at Dane military instruction officer for 7 years. My code doesn't work. Why? 10 minutes later, it works. Why? Life of a developer. True. Okay, I think there's another thing I want to do on the map that I wasn't quite 100% happy with. I want to reduce the defense of these guys by just like 2 points. Just 2 points I think is fine. They're a little bit too squishy for my taste. I have the OG Daggerfall box from 2000 somewhere, or was it 1999? Was it really that, like, late? I thought Daggerfall was from, like, 95 or something. Around the time when, like, Doom came out. I blizzarded at Blizzard for 7 blizzards. Blizzarded software, true. You know, I've mentioned it before, but I think it's actually crazy. I always thought, you know, when Pirate Software became like huge through all of his shorts, I was like, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. This dude is really knowledgeable. And then I realized that he is a complete fraud, obviously. But then somebody mentioned to me, like, oh, you're just like Pirate Software, except you actually work on things. Or like, no, it was unlike Pirate Software, you actually work on things. and make progress. And I was kind of shocked because the realization hit me. This dude is a complete fraud, who I thought was way more advanced than me. But I probably can code better than him, and I'm not a coder. I don't have any experience in it other than like hobby stuff. Used with a later trip. Ah, okay. Chat writers, you stole my idea. Chat coders, hey, I stole your code. Don't worry, I stole it too. True. I remember that time when Bethesda gave TES Arena and Daggerfall for free. Well, they still do. They still do. You can just grab it. I tried to coach it, but I have severe ADHD. Okay, so what helped me, and I'm pretty autistic in that regard as well, what really helped me to understand code is to try to understand it from the very bottom. I've tried to learn C code so many times, and the entire time I tried to understand what the functions do, and I could not wrap my head around it. It was just, regardless what I tried, it would just not enter my brain properly. But once I started to look at assembly code and look at hex code and understood that like at a very low level and looked at binary, how binary works in coding, I watched a shit ton of videos on that passively, like over the course of the last couple of years. And only when I did that and actually used that for Tellius hacking by using Ghidra, did I start understanding how C works. The best way to learn coding is to do coding. Yeah, like I've noticed this when I did math as well in I guess the equivalent would be high school. We learned about like x equals something. And I remember as a kid I was like, but what is x? My entire problem back then was like, I don't understand what x is and I want to try to find out what x is. Because they always just told me x equals something. And I was like, yeah, okay, but what is x? And then it took a while for it to kick in that x is literally a placeholder. X doesn't exist, you're trying to find out x. I don't know if they just explained it badly, but once somebody explained it from the basics, I was like, oh, it's literally just a placeholder. And then everything made click and I understood everything. C code is not easy to understand though either, as it's a weird space between low-level and high-level code. Yeah. So awesome, Don, truly learning how to learn, a valuable skill to teach yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, let me change my music playlist. Hey, a podcast is basically music. Wait, now I can't focus. What I usually do for when I work is I put on a singular song on repeat for 5 hours. I don't think everybody can do that, but I can. And it helps me concentrate, brings me in the mode. Sounds like someone failed hard at teaching. Yeah, my math teacher, he was a great guy. He was a very, very cool dude. But he loved what he did. He was really good at math. He just wasn't super good at teaching it. Listen to Seabed on loop. Yeah, there's a couple of songs I listen to, but they all have lyrics and they're like historical songs. So I don't want to play them here. Or I like metal. I often listen to metal as well, like Windrose, Glory Hammer, Sabaton. A bit of a personal question, but what major are you studying? I'm not studying anything. I have an apprenticeship as a store clerk. That's pretty much it. I have absolutely no education. I wanted to study, but because of my family situation, it's more important that I just make money right now. And I'm trying to find another job again since the store I did my apprenticeship in got closed. Yeah, I love historical stuff. There's also a Russian band that's kind of like Sabaton called Arktida. Arktida is also pretty good. Came out your black and tans, absolutely goated. I can sing that song like... I know the lyrics to that song by heart. I have like an entire playlist on my phone full of like Irish bangers. Oh, I've got a lovely new flak jacket and a pair of khaki shoes. And when we go on night patrol, we hold each other's hands. We are the British Army and we've come to take your land. That does sound really cool. Can you put the spelling of that Russian band in chat? Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. It is Arctida. They have a couple of cool songs. There's also another one I really enjoyed, which is Radio Tapok, which the dude started out by making Russian covers of Sabaton songs, but he has a couple of his own ones now. And I think he also has some covers of Rammstein songs. And they sound pretty good. They have like a relatively good production value. And now he's just making his own songs. And they sound pretty cool. I think they even collabed. Like, if you know the Sabaton song, Battle of Moscow, that is a song that he actually made and Sabaton then covered. And put their own twist on it. So they've worked together a little bit in the past, which is pretty cool. I think otherwise I'm relatively happy with this. Maybe the only other thing I want to do is reduce this Paladin's defense by like 2 points as well. I think he's... actually, this is 3 points. Let's do 4 points. I think 4 points. Okay. Actually, no, he's a little bit of a mini-boss for the southern party. I guess we can keep it. Circed Arctida, and first song I clicked open with throat singing. Based in Hortfield. I don't know if Arctida has through the centuries. Oh yeah, they have a bunch of like older songs. I'm not super familiar with them, but they have like one of them that's really good is Mozart of War. Like Mozart, like the composer. Yeah, and then it's the Mozart of Warfare. That's the one. That's pretty good. It's like about some Russian general, I think, during the Napoleonic Wars. I'm not super familiar with the other songs from them. But yeah, throat singing also pretty based. The Hue, also pretty nice. Pretty good band. I generally like a lot of things that are like metal, rock, but not like screamer metal where you can't hear, like, understand any of the lyrics, but like actual metal where you can hear what they're singing. I wonder what you're gonna do about the bridge map. That's the only one I know for a fact everyone has a bone to pick with. I'm not sure. We'll see it. We'll see it when we get there. For now, I just worry about this chapter, and this is by far the chapter I spent the most time working on. So I want to make sure it feels right. Could be rather close. Maybe do something like this. Maybe, yeah, we'll just do this, I guess. And we'll attempt to go east again. I want to see how much more doable it is. I've reduced the bulk of these guys a little bit because it was a little bit overtuned, honestly. I wonder what you're gonna... Oh. But that is horse-pilled. Based in horse-pilled. You know, horses are pretty cool. But ever since that fucking horse racing game became like very huge, I kind of don't like him anymore. I don't like him as much anymore. Now they're just cringe. Like, I am the type of person who is like, grr, popular thing, grr. I think he might be a little bit too fast. Yeah, I don't know what I did to this guy's speed. It should not be 18. He gets weighed down by 7. How much does Titania need to double him? 14. So this guy should have like 10 speed. Yeah, he can roll a little bit up on speed and then you can't double him. That's not something that should be in. Need to reduce this guy's speed by just a little bit. Actually, I wanted to reduce his strength by 1. So he can't two-shot Titania reliably. And if we would just do it by 2, then he should be safe from bad levels, because I'm not sure if my Titania got a defense level up or not. So by this we also reduce his speed by 2, and it should be fine then. Okay. Safe. Oh, I saw another person. Oh no, it's just Julian replied. Am I adding bands? Yes, yes. I just need to figure out how they're added in, because it's not in the code. They're added in a weird way, I think, but I have a rough idea of what it could be. Somebody mentioned something before. Put you right there. I want Big Boyd to be close. Let's do this, I guess. Okay. 20... Wait, what? I think his strength is very variable. That's weird. Gets weight down by 6. So he, even though I reduced his strength by 2... I did reduce it, right? Yeah. FC? I guess we reduce it further. Oh wait, I'm reducing his HP. I'm stupid. I'm reducing his HP. Lofa, where is Bofa? Bofa these nuts. Okay. Yeah, I just edited the wrong spot. So we do it yet again. This is unfortunately just how you have to test it. It takes a while to test everything, which is why sometimes I like to do a couple more edits at once. But I'm not quite sure what other edits I can really do right now. Yeah, now it works. Now he gets weight down by 11. It's almost a bit too much. Let's do FE. 11 is too much. FE, FD. Yeah, we'll reduce it by 1 more. So at this point he should still do pretty good damage, but he shouldn't two-shot Titania, and he should be able to be doubled by your faster units. Which is exactly the position I want him to be in. This is somebody who you're supposed to use your strong veteran units to get through this guy. If you really want to go east. That's... He loses 9 speed. But his speed is also pretty variable. Like, he had 18 speed before. And with 18 speed, he would have 9 speed, which is still okay, I think. He actually needs to have 9 speed for Shinon to double him. I guess I'll reduce his speed by 1 as well. His HP also changed. Yeah, the stats are variable, which is normally not a bad thing. But if you, like... I'm not quite sure if you can set somebody to not have stat variance. I'm not sure how you do that. So... hold on. HP, strength, magic, skill, speed. So I guess we reduce his speed by 2 as well. Maybe it works now. I mean, that's what you do for balancing. You put shit on a map, you see what sticks, you see how your units do. Yeah. Then this should be much more doable. And then you just adjust as you go on. I mean, this guy has like 0 speed, but I think he may still... What I can do for this guy is either I reduce his defense even further, or I reduce his HP a little bit. I guess I want to reduce his HP a little bit. Let's do that as well. We'll do FB, which is 5. Fit Monkey 100. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Ooh, ee, ee, ah, ooh. YouTube Red Originals. I think the last time I got an ad for YouTube Red was like 5 years ago. I forgot that even existed. Oh, Soren joined the server as well. Let me give him the role too. Yeah, also this is another issue I currently have, but it doesn't really matter for now. A lot of the characters are force deployed. Everybody who's not originally on the map isn't. And I just need to change that as well. But it's not super high priority since you don't really want to bench anybody anyways on this map. Absolute banger. Shin on here. Yeah, this should be alright. Let's maybe put Mia there. I only remember YouTube Heroes because of the song. I don't even know what song you're talking about. Alright, let's attempt it again. By the way, since everybody in this game has a res growth, I actually... and Soren was so bad on this chapter, so I reduced everybody's resistance stat by like 5 points. And for most units that means 0 res, but some of them, like the Paladins, still have 4. And surprisingly enough, some soldiers can sometimes get lucky and also have pretty good... But this is droppable. I'm not quite sure I want that to be droppable. Same with that thing. Oh yeah, you also have the Great Axe. 5 points! I also gotta add to the description of the stiletto that it's effective against armors. Posted in the music chat of Dawnclave. Let me check. YouTube Hero? Look, I don't know what that is, but I'm afraid that I'm gonna get a copyright strike for it. So I'm not gonna play it. Because I straight up don't know what that is. Yeah, this seems a bit more doable. Titania still, yeah, she still takes a little bit more to get him down. So we'll wait with her and then we can go through him next chapter. Or next turn. Wow, doesn't even need the Steel Axe. Void for the win. This Oscar is kinda shit. Not gonna lie. I mean, Oscar still always becomes really good because of how straight up tanky he is, but still. Got to run, but thanks again for an awesome stream. Best of luck. Well, thank you for watching it. Wait. -10 capacity? Is that because of Paragon? It is. Paragon gives you capacity? What? What the Sigma? I don't like this guy being able to one-shot Gatry, so I think I'm gonna reduce his strength a little bit too. HP strength will do 2 points, FE. Paragon. But I'll just continue playing. See, 27 crit, or well, 30 crit, because of all the bond supports. So nice. Thought we were Paragons, but we're Paragoon. Just a Paragoons. I'm going. 60% hit chance. I don't think I can put him in range unless, like, then he just dies. Nice.
Thank you.
Ooh. Yeah, I still forgot to set up the Ko-Fi donation thing, but I have Ko-Fi open. Tiwaz bought a monkey. Hey Donald, finally got stable, so I want to help a bit. Keep on going with the good content and dev. You're an inspiration to learning things. He donated 50 euros. Oh my god, thank you, Tiwaz. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I haven't been streaming all that much because of some family stuff, but that has slowly been going to a more normal situation, been normalizing a bit again, and that means I can now start streaming a bit more again. So thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Okay, I may just need Titania to help out there a bit. Welcome, I hope the family stuff sorts itself up well. Yeah, it's, I mean, I've mentioned it briefly during my stream when I played the FE7 race. But essentially my uncle, who's only 6 years older than me, by the way, because I was born pretty early and he was born pretty late, he seems to have developed what is most likely a form of paranoid schizophrenia. And, well, he considered killing us. He brought us all to, like, where he lived and was like, oh, you all need to arrive there at that exact time. And he didn't attack us or anything because my mother talked to him beforehand and managed to convince him that it was not a good idea. But it was still pretty difficult. That's a really good dodge. But you know, I'm at a point nowadays where I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. What can you do? As long as you never run out of it is what it is, you will live eternally, and you will be able to go through any situation. I had to fork out 5,000 euros for my dad's funeral and wake, so I'm gonna have to do a cheap ass on the donor side for it. Crimmy, don't worry about it. Family is the most important thing, and it's important that you set your priorities straight. At the end of the day, even though we're friends and I value our friendship, I'm not your dad, I'm not your family. So it's completely understandable to put family first, and I think that's honestly what you should do as well. Now that the hammer guy is gone, Gatry can actually fight rather well. FEH question, pulled an Animarv dupe. Should I field both for the memes? I have absolutely no clue in regards to Fire Emblem Heroes. I don't like it. I don't play it. I don't enjoy it. I don't think I can poke it out there. I think I gotta clear some room here with Titania. Though I didn't realize she was hurt. Life can sometimes suck, but it's important to remember it's generally sucking only for some time. Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. I mean, I've been waiting for everything to get a little bit better for years now, but you know, you just learn to accept the fact and that things are not going well, and then just live with it. Because crying about it never helped. You just need to continue moving forward. So, and saying weights don't get lighter, you get stronger. True, true, Crimmy, very true. Very, very true. But, you know, as long as I have enough of a supply of it is what it is, I'll be fine. Ooh. If I can get a dodge here. Thing is, I could actually rescue him. I could rescue him. So you know what, we're gonna attempt to go for a dodge here. No crit either. Okay. You just get used to it more than anything. Yeah, you do. You do get used to everything a bit. Can't really shove her. I could potentially shove Mist, I guess, but then I need to deal with this guy. And he's pretty scary. Pretty dodgy. Depth would have been nice here. Do what you gotta do. Exactly. Oh, he leveled defense. I was wondering, wait, why does he do less damage now? Yeah, because he leveled defense. Yeah, if I now go for... I don't like the chances of that, actually. Oh, I just realized Soren is in danger as well now. But I need to move Boyd anyways. I think I gotta just go for it. He's a little bit too dodgy for my taste, honestly. Let's just attempt to kill him. Okay, there we go. That's pretty lucky. Yeah, this guy should probably have less HP or less defense. That felt a little bit too bulky. Let's reduce his defense by 5 points. These guys are supposed to be easily dealt with, but like, this guy seems scary, but the thing is, their damage is like 9 to 10 damage. They do have a high crit rate, but most of your units take almost no damage from that. It's only your squishy units that are scary. On a lighter topic, those promoted enemies sure are scary. I did chapters 4 yesterday, wasn't ready to see halberdiers there. Yeah, I want Dane to feel like an actual strong army. Now the thing is, there are more promoted enemies. I think I generally like the idea of like giving the player promoted enemies early. I mean, that's what Andron Saga did as well, for example. But I reduced the stats on them a little bit, actually a good amount. And funnily enough, a level 20 soldier usually is a good bit stronger than a level 1 halberdier. So it's not like level 10 soldier, level 15 soldier, and then a halberdier is just better than a level 15 soldier. It's you level a soldier to like level 10, level 15, then you have a halberdier, and for 5 levels you use the halberdier, and then you use the level 20 soldier. If you want to go by like just raw stats, what the game does by itself. Yeah, that was a little bit too scary to try to kill this guy. One thing I think I also want to change, Blossom. Blossom is not good. I think I already removed it, but it just is not active on the save. No, I didn't remove it, okay. Because I don't like how Blossom works. I may be able to rework it by using Ghidra, but that requires testing, and it's not super high on my priority list right now. So I'm just gonna remove it from Soph, I think, because It is such a bad skill. I mean, you saw Soph kill multiple enemies who were like level 10. He killed a guy here who was level 1 promoted and he got 30 experience. Like 34 experience or something. For a promoted enemy kill as a level 1 thief. Blossom is so bad. It is so bad. If I can change it, I may change it to it just reducing your experience gains by 20%. And then maybe you get a modifier of 33% on your growths. So, meaning that if you have 100% growth, oh no, that's a bad example. If you have 50% growth, you don't get 33% growth, so you don't get put to 83% growth. You get a third of 50%, so you get like 16% extra growths. Is that correct? I don't know. I can't really math right now. But you get the point. Modifier of 1.33. Because at that point, you still get less experience, and the extra growth rates you have are not that significant. But maybe Thief has some reduced XP though, since it's not fully an unpromoted class. No, it is unpromoted. It definitely counts as unpromoted. EXP map real? Need a Tower of Valny or something? I think... So here's the thing. I've increased the level of all of these units by... I think some of them were level 4. Now they're level 10, level 11. So you already are getting more experience from these guys. This is just the first map where you really notice things ramping up. Chapter 4 already was a relatively huge buff as well. Like that's when it really started. For the enemies to get higher levels. But so far you haven't really been fighting all that many enemies. Does bonus EXP get gimped? So in this game it doesn't. In Radiant Dawn it always gives you 3 stats, but that's actually a good thing. I'm not really sure what to do with it. Can Blossom be categorized as a learning disability? I think it's more supposed to be like a late bloomer, like somebody who's not particularly good early on in life, but once they get older they really start to get going. I think that's the idea behind the name. But practically it just means that the unit is shit and you should never use Blossom. I will heal. Maybe I didn't need to actually. I do need to heal on Titania. Big T. I like the reinforcement timings a good bit more now. Beforehand you would get the reinforcements at the top right way earlier. I think they appear next turn, which is still rather early, but... Oh. Yeah, bonus XP is just normal levels, yeah. Oh. Well, I guess I forgot to rescue Shinon. Oh well. Strength magic. And nothing of value was lost. No, Shinon is a great unit. In this he is. I'm actually pretty sad about that. Wizard Gatry, indeed. I'm a wizard, Shinon. Shinon? Where are you? Oh boy. There we go. I just don't like... Oh, I love Shinon. Shinon is such a fun character. He is such a fun character. Why is Titania taking damage? Because these enemies have great weapons. They have pretty strong weapons. And they're all higher level. We'll have Gatry choke there, but I think next turn is when these reinforcements arrive, so we do need to start hurrying up a bit here. These guys luckily don't move. Just unusual. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be more difficult. Why is her name Tiamat? Because I'm using the names of the Japanese versions, or of international versions where possible, to add some variants. Like, Rolf is called Lofa, that's just his Japanese name. Lofa these nuts. My face when my Jagan is taking damage? Yeah. Like, this is one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted your kill button characters to no longer be kill button characters. Now, I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but I just healed and it only gave 10 experience. Could it be that Paragon doesn't work on staves? That would be pretty bad. That would be pretty bad. We'll see. I think you can theoretically go through the east here as well. Let me check that out. By the way, giving her the heavy Tiamat axe is actually gold. Having her being able to set up kills feels so good. Yeah, he does move in. Ideally, I want a battle quote with him, where he is like, I've seen enough of my men die, now face me, or something like that. Soph was named something much longer. No, not Soph, it's Soren. Soren's Japanese name is Scenario, which is like, you know, a scenario. Which makes sense because he's a tactician, but it does sound a little bit weird. Or like Riss is Kilroy. Bowl. Alja is only her German name, but I think it sounds pretty cool, so I figured for variety's sake I'll use it. Yu is great. I've also changed the class names. Myrmidons are called Sworders. And they're not called armors, but I just called them armors for now to be able to properly differentiate them. Yeah, starting on turn 5, you're gonna get... What's this? Oh, I think this guy's supposed to be a halberdier. You get lancers, you get soldiers, you get warriors, and these guys, I mean, they're not unbeatable, but they're certainly not weak. Now, this guy definitely should not be a soldier. Let's make him a lancer. Because... yeah, see, there's 2 lancers here, there should be 2 lancers. Wagyu meat. Soren is called Scenario? Yes, pretty much. I mean, Scenario without the C, but his Japanese name is Scenario. Which sounds like scenario, like, you know, the with the C, so I'm assuming that's where the name originated from. Yeah, I think I can beat this guy, I just need to do it smart. Maybe pull Titania in first. Scary boss. Yeah, I figured I kind of want to try like a magical... magical armor knight sort of thing. So this guy actually does have a rest stat. He's one of the few enemies on here who does. Ooh, and I don't get weapon triangle advantage. Ooh. Let's hope for a crit. I think I'm... What about the stiletto? I think I can kill him with that. I just gotta rescue Ike out of there. Good level. Oh, I've already used Oscar. What about a hand axe? No. Oh, you can't even rescue Ike. Oh, that's not good. That is not good at all. I think you have a good rest that, so he can actually heal Ike here. I think Ike is probably gonna die here. But that's not enough either. I can move to the back. They're probably gonna go for Ike. And they're probably gonna kill. Maybe I'll get an Adept proc or a crit. Nope. Well, I still want to move towards the right. Not with you. Maybe I should make them spawn just a little bit further up. We do a bit of fence hopping. I'm not quite sure I want to make him move, actually. Maybe he only moves after turn 6. Because it feels like these guys were supposed to protect him, and now you can't really... But then again, I was still almost able to kill him. I'm not sure. But, oh, I just realized I need to heal Oscar. I'll put you right here. We'll do something like this, I guess. See how that goes. Sure, if you want them to spawn too far up, because then you might not see them coming in the fog. Maybe, yeah, you're right. I feel like these guys might be a little bit too strong. I mean, they're supposed to feel pretty strong, but... Maybe I'll push it back one more turn. Yeah. Well, it's the game over anyways. But I think I will actually push them up one more turn. Where's the script? Zone. We'll have them start on turn 6. And push all the other ones back one more turn. Maybe spawn 2 in the first turn and 2 one turn later. I could. But that would mean having to do a new group, and I'm a bit lazy. I honestly am a little bit tired of working on this map. I kind of want to work on some other maps. Done lazy, indeed. This guy feels pretty weird. I'm not quite sure I like this guy being able to reach all the way to like up here. I think what I may just do is I swap these positions out. Because then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You can only attack up to here, so you can tank a little bit right here against this guy. And if you still want to engage this dude with somebody, you can put them right here, I think. Or no, it has to be here then, right? It's only 5 move. But I think that's fine, because then this guy can't trap you here turn 1 either. It should be fine. Perhaps you need to work harder. Put on another song, I don't really like that. Let's go, Victorian Fear. I think I may just set him to no move attack. I think that might be better still. I set him to no move attack, and then in the code I go to... Because I don't want this chapter to take ages either. So let's copy that, and we say on turn 8 he starts moving. By the way, would you like some coding help? I don't know anything about working with Paragon, but I'd consider helping if I have some free time. Oh, absolutely. If you want to help in any way, just... I mean, I think you're already on the server, right? Normally, I ask for coding help specific to Radiant Dawn on Sal's modding server, which is the Gridnea Tower. I can maybe send an invite to that on my development server as well, in the shower patch things, because that's where all the progress on Tellius hacking gets shared. And you can maybe take a look into that, or I can just maybe ping you if I don't understand how to do something. I'll consider it. That's going to be very thankful, very, very helpful, I mean. Right, I need to take all unit attack 100. Not that weird Grail one, I'm not quite sure why that is, what that AI even does. Sequence all unit attack 100. And move towards the nearest unit. And then ideally he would have some dialogue here. Let me see, I kind of do want to try adding the dialogue now. I think it would add to the map, to the gameplay right now. I'll make it a very quick one though. Let's do copy talk event. Let's do wait for a few seconds. I think this is in milliseconds, 250. This is normally from the boss convo. So let us take this, and when he starts moving, we only need one of them. I think this is probably fine. And we're gonna create a new talk event. I am on the Gridnea Tower server. Do not hesitate to ping me if you need additional input. Again, I don't know a lot about modding or ROM hacking, but I have programming education and experience. Okay, I'll keep it in mind, because the one thing that I will probably need a little bit of help with, well, for FE10, but I'm not going to be working on FE10 for a bit until I finish this, is I wanted to have a charge skill which increases the damage based on how many tiles you move, and I want to put that on like lances. And if I can do that, I kind of want to add this to this as well. I think that could be pretty cool. And I know it's doable, I just don't know how exactly you can do it, because Sal has made a lot of custom skills akin to that before. So, yeah. Let us add a dialogue here, and we will call it MS06 Dakoa charge. And now this dialogue is pretty weird, because boss, let's use this. There's commands in here and there's Japanese letters in here. And these are all commands that do things like a line break and stuff like that. How long does it take for you to learn these things? Learn what? What specifically? I just like try things out, and then I see if it works. And if I really can't progress, I'll ask the other people on the Tellius hacking server. And quite often they're very helpful and they send help my way, and then, you know, when I find people who need help, I do the same. So I'm not quite sure what this is for. I guess we can put that in the translation service. Up and down conversation. Maybe the text box type? I mean, a lot of like this stuff is just like, I want to do something. I can't figure it out. I look up how to do it. I can't figure it out. I fiddle around with it for hours. I figure it out. And I don't know what something does. I test it out. Like, for example, with the hex editor, I can show you... Where's the project file? Here. Like, I wanted to... This was when I wanted to change the gate. I wanted to remove the gate that was blocking the east side. And I looked at some notes that I found regarding how the thing is structured. And then I calculated how to... where in the hex data everything is. Based on those notes from Lord Mewtwo. They were... No, I think they were FE9 specific notes as well. But essentially, like, the first 20 bytes, or like, first 32 bytes are just a header, and then it starts, and then you have the pointers, and you have to calculate, like, oh, okay, pointer plus 0x20 minus the other file, and then you can, at some point, calculate all of this. And, figure out where stuff is. And I calculated all of this, I sent my notes over to the Tellius hacking server once I figured this out, and some other guy then found out that the gate is controlled via the map link thing. And if you remove the data from map link, the gate disappears. And you can even change its position somehow, but I don't really care about that, so I haven't fiddled with that. I also found out this is the map grid. And where the playable margin is, like you have I have my bookmarks that I make. I think, map grid, oh, this is map grid color, I think. Okay, where's the playable margin thing? Capacity. I have to look up where it is right now, I don't quite remember. It seems I haven't written it down in imhex myself. But this is imhex. It is my favorite hex editor. It has some issues as well, but pretty much every hex editor does have some things that I don't like about it, but this is the best one so far. Because you can make these little bookmarks, you can have data sets here that if you understand how to create them, can be extremely helpful. I want to show that off as well, actually. Because I think it could be very helpful to understand how I work with these things. Testing, map testing. Here. I created a hex project, Tellius map editing. And in here, where is it? Which one? Here. No, that's the FE9 one. Here. What I did is... I literally... I shit you not. So first I made bookmarks for this to properly set all the data. Then I was like... I copied this data set. And I was like, hey... And I normally don't use AI for stuff like this. But I was like, hey, ChatGPT, here's my situation. I've never used it beforehand for anything like that either, but I've heard that it works pretty well for that. Here's my situation. I want to hack Radiant Dawn. This is the tools I have available. This is what I'm using. This is what I know already. These are my hypotheses that I have so far, and I will change all of these values one by one to see what they do and test them out. And I want you to give me ideas for what they could do based on the values. And I want you to help me create a pattern editor file to properly assign them. And it did take some fiddling, but eventually it did work. And I was able to create and learn how to make a pattern editor with the help of the AI. And over the course of many, many hours, I was able to change and document what each of the bytes does. And it would, for example, say, oh, this is probably an alpha value, which is responsible for the transparency based on the value, or this is a signed endian and stuff, and I learned what signed endians are. And with that I slowly did all of this, and then you can hit like evaluate, and you go to pattern data, and hold on, not here, it's into map data. And it unfortunately always resets my values here. But you can see like, oh, okay, this is what I found out so far. This is the value of map width. This is the value of map height. This is the sun position. Learning all this by trial and error is very impressive. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I found this easier than just looking at C code. I fiddled a little bit with hex code before when I tried hacking Shadow Dragon, but I wasn't quite. I didn't have the knowledge I had now. So, yeah. Using ChatGPT to get info is no different from Googling it. I tried Googling it and I couldn't get any outright answers, so I was like, okay, I'll try it out, and it was quite helpful. And then I just like changed this value. I was like, okay, what does this value do? I'll change it to 0. Tested it with 0. What happens? Okay, something happens. I'm changing it to... You don't want to do FF, because I've learned if you change it to FF, sometimes that just turns it off and it's like a 0. So I've changed it to like, I don't know, 40. Which is... I'm not quite sure right now. It's 180, yeah. Or you can do like 20 if you want to do... Oh no, it's not 80. What's that? Oh, 40 is 64, right. I remember now. And then I just saw what changed. And I did this literally for hours until I had a good amount of stuff noted down. It's still not all because it's a shit ton of work. But as you can see, I was also able to group this up like, oh, this is all responsible for one object. This is an object. This is an object. This is a different object. And, but the issue is with hex editing, unless you have a script that does it for you, you can only change data or add data at the end, but you can't really add data at the end because it expects, it kind of views this as sectors, kind of like groups. So if there is data past this group, then it won't really account for it. It will think that it's part of this end region group, unless you change where the groups are located. Which means that you can't really just add things at the end. You can change things, or you can repoint everything. And a pointer is essentially just saying, okay, if you want to know what the data is for this thing, look in this address. It is literally like a home address, but for the hex data. And you'd have to change all of the pointers to match something if you add data in the middle. Which you can't do. There's a guy who has done that for FE9's animation editor to add new animations. Or rather to add new textures, not animations. But doing it, because he made a script for it, but doing it manually is hours of work for minor things. Yeah, but that concludes that tirade. I just wanted to show that off. Oh fuck, I closed the wrong file. I wanted to close the project. Ah shit. Ah, whatever. I can find it again later. Sir, wanna collab? Oof. I don't think you're a hacker, man. We wanted to write some small dialogue. Yeah, this is normally what he says. I copied the which song is this? This should be Victorian Fear still. From, yeah, Portrait of Ruin, Victorian Fear. This is normally what he says when he retreats. But I think we can use a lot of this dialogue for the same thing, since you can't beat the chapter without beating him, so... Just who are these mercenaries? Castlevania, yeah. Knowing your enemy's strength is vital to any strategy. Soldiers retreat, we fall back for now. So many of my men have died already. It's time to finish this myself. Finish this myself. Okay, yeah. And then I guess he can also say all soldiers charge. My favorite part of Path of Radiance was when Barth saved Grail. If only there was a Barth video to explain this. If only. If only. But unfortunately, such a thing does not exist. But I'm not quite sure what the $K, $P command does. But I think it designates when you do a line break. Because if you don't designate this, it will go past the box. I think W2 should be just click a button to continue the conversation. Isn't this conversation when he retreats, he should have another quote for battle? This is not for battle, this is for if you take too long, he will start charging towards the player and tell all of his troops to do the same. Or I guess I don't even really want him to charge. I just or his soldiers to charge. So let's just change all of this. See if this works, I guess. Yeah, I'm repurposing it. I'm just repurposing it. Because I'm not sure what the commands here all do, but if I keep the general structure the same, even though it won't be perfect immediately, I should be able to make it look fine enough for the testing version at least. So we have this, and okay, now what we do is we change this to the name that I've given it, which is Dakowa Charge. So now on turn 8, on the player phase of turn 8, reinforcements will arrive, and his AI will be set to charge. Then you can't skip the dialogue, because in the dialogue he says, "Grr, I'm gonna charge," and then you can skip the dialogue again, because I don't want people to just skip that dialogue and be like, "Oh my god, he charges." Yeah. Okay. I think I want to take a little bit of a break from working on the map stuff though, so let's take a look at what possible items we can add. Calling it Nog? No. No, sire. So, one thing I definitely wanted to add is I wanted to add crossbows. I wanted to add crossbows because I've noticed, I think it's SH, there was a trait you can use that does fixed damage. I don't remember what it was. I think it was SF. Where it doesn't account for your strength. Oh, this is shoot only. I guess only for snipers. I also love the double bow. It's just called the long bow. The longer longbow. Oh, we can change the description here. Most powerful combat knife, effective against armor. Yeah, or you have, for example, seal crit, which means you can't crit with it, I think. No, I think enemies can't crit you. Is that what it is, maybe? Let's try SH. Spelled again instead of against. Oh. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take a look at the bands, actually. That's one thing we can do. Because I think you get the first one here, right? I think if I understood it correctly, characters should spawn with the... Yeah, see? He has the fighter's band. Okay, so how this works is, in the Unknown 3 data, you determine the state of the inventory slot. These two are determining other things like character states, but then the next 4 are weapon 1, weapon 2, weapon 3, and so on, until you get weapon or item 4. The music stopped again. Oh, it straight up gave me an error. Okay, we do the next one. Yeah, let's go. And the way we make them appear and drop, I've heard somebody else talk about this. If you want to make the fighter's ring droppable, or let's, you know, if you do 0-0, nothing happens. My Boyd actually didn't have his band, even though I had a completed file. Oscar had his. Yeah, that's because Boyd gets loaded in the previous chapter, not in this chapter. So I guess for Boyd, I actually would have to give him, to give it to him. Honestly, though, you know what? I'm not a huge fan of how the bands are implemented. As in, you just get them with the characters, especially since they now give you fixed bonus stats. Maybe I just want to remove them from the game and make them drop at certain points. I think that was probably going to be a better choice, honestly. So yeah, if I want to make an item droppable, I change this to 1. If I want to make it appear only if you have a cleared save file, I change it to 2. And then 3 is also used for something. Because of the changed prologue, Boyd actually kicked my ass once, by the way, didn't expect it. Yeah, I wanted to shake the prologue up just a little bit. But I like the idea of these things not just being given to you. So we'll just go through all of the chapters. Ah, you have a ring. And remove those Rance music. Yeah, I have it in my music playlist. It's... You know, Davis asked for music to be played in one of his recent streams, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, during the FE9 stream," and I was like, "Hey, you should play Rebirth the Edge from Sengoku Rance." And he was like, "No, Rance is, you know." I was like, "Look, dude, whatever you think about Rance, that's one thing, but the music is a fucking banger, and you can't argue against that." But he still didn't play it, it was so over. Like, you can say about Rance what you want. And have an opinion about those games. I don't care about that. You can have whatever you want, sort of opinion, but The music is an absolute banger. Absolute banger. So wait, doesn't Gatry come with a... Oh, I've already removed that in the last chapter, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay. We're still cooking chapter 5. I am mostly done with it, but I'm a little bit tired about it and I don't want to play through it again. So I'm working a little bit on some other stuff that's not like in the chapters, and then I'll probably head off after that. I wanted to take a look at all of the bands right now. I don't get a new character here, I'm pretty sure. Nope. This is where you normally get Mia. Burden. YU. We'll change that as well. I've decided I want to give the player the bands as a reward for playing well. So if they go through the trouble of like beating a boss that they didn't have to beat or achieving an objective that they shouldn't beat, they can get a band. I think Ileana has one too. I have some interesting ideas for this as well. For this chapter that I guess I can talk about. My idea was, I'm not sure I have even noted this down. This chapter's boss also has a band. Oh. Does he? I think it's on hard. First. Where is he? Baruma. Oh, I think 3 is only on hard mode and droppable. But I don't want to make that the condition, so we're just gonna remove that for now. Kind of feels like FE8 side objectives. I found these fun, especially the warp and rescue ones. I have no idea what you're talking about. FE8 side objectives? Yeah, but what my idea was for chapter 9 is the Black Knight takes a little bit of a different position. I wanted him to be more close to how he is in FE9, and I wanted him to stay like that. So he is a revenge-hungry man who wants to kind of force Ike to become stronger so he can have his real duel, right? And the way he's gonna do that is over the course of the game, he will quote-unquote test Ike and put him in really bad situations to see how he will react and how he will solve those situations. And one of those situations is, in this chapter, there will be some random lion's roar and the like I've read through the story. What happens normally is the Burger King kills Grile, then he's about to kill Ike, and then the Lion King roars, and he's like, oh, that's the Lion King. Okay, I'll leave for now. But then the Lion King doesn't arrive, right? He doesn't go there and help defend Ike or something. He's like, yeah, I feel... Like, later on you meet him and he's like, yeah, I was there, but I felt like I was interrupting something. Like, it wasn't really cool for me to join at that point. It's like, bruh, no. No. And so I just removed that entire part of the Lion King being there. Instead, the Burger King will stay as a boss at the bottom of the chapter. And from the east, you'll have the Armor Knight boss that you normally face, that I'll turn into a General Kamura, I think it is. And from the west, you will have Ileana as a boss. Because he forces Ileana to fight Ike to see if Ike will kill her or not. And the goal would be to not kill Ileana together. Because I could just make her like join you at the start of the chapter, but I think that would be boring. And I know people don't like her as she is right now, where she just runs in, talks to you, and then you die, and then she dies. Or like she just gets the enemy horse just, you know, make it so that you can't recruit her. And I found that boring. So my idea was the way you recruit her is actually not to kill her. She just needs to survive the chapter. And yeah. So the Black Knight wants to test if Ike is willing to kill her or not. If his comrade's life depends on it. And if Ike is like, no, I'm strong enough to find a way around this, then the Burger King will be impressed. And if not, then, well, he won't be impressed, but you just won't get her. The biggest issue I have with Ileana is that her space gets cluttered a lot, making it annoying. Recruiting her by letting her live is fine. Yeah, that's the idea. And the idea is, at that point, you still have a proper siege. Again, I want Dane to feel strong. So, you're gonna have the Burger King at the bottom, Kamura at the right, and Ileana at the left, and they're all sieging you. Maybe make her a bit stronger at base since she's gonna miss out on some XP. Yeah, I mean, I'll make her good, don't worry. That's the idea I had for that one. I don't think these are all just cutscene maps. Yeah, this is that map. I haven't really thought all that much about this one yet, but I've decided that I wanted to make Nedata... I don't think he's on the map here, actually. Here, Nedata. I wanted to make him recruitable. Are you expanding the deployment slots? Yeah. When possible, I am. I might not do it for all chapters. Now, the Chillstone map comes before. But I wanted to get Nedata be a playable bandit. People have asked for that. I'm really not sure how I want to handle Marsha. If I even want to let her join here at all. Or if I want to let her join a bit later, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. For now, we'll just remove this. I think Mist has... Let's see. I think Mist also had a band, didn't she? No? Oh, I guess not. Be included, scallywags of the sea, are we? Indeed. Yeah, and anything past that I haven't really thought about. What if Burger King gets killed by a random Lagoose NPC and returns as a ghost like Sordohan from the greatest RPG ever made? Two Worlds 2? I do not get that reference. I know about Two Worlds 2, but I don't know much about it. What if you make Marsha a paid recruit this map, then a free one for a later map? I don't feel like that would suit her though. She's looking for Makalov, so I don't see her being like, oh, you pay me and I'll work for you? Like, no. She would join Ike if she has a suspicion that Ike will come across Makalov, or if he maybe helps her and she wants to help him in return or something. What if you made Marsha cute? I don't know. She's repaying a favor, yeah. It's not Marsha's type to get paid for it. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't really fit her. But going back to what we wanted to change, we changed a couple of the bands so that they appear at some later time. I don't want to make them appear super early. I think for now, not getting one of the bands is fine. Just add horse XP from HP from Berwick and make the calves use the foot classes. So true, so based. So fucking based. Yeah, I wanted to add... crossbows. And I think it is the SH attribute that accounts for not taking your strength into account. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy the ballista over, and we're gonna make this crossbow, or let's start with the bow gun. That would go hard, to be honest. I mean, honestly, Horse HP is one of the best mechanics in Berwick straight up. It single-handedly fixed the issue of Kanto classes being OP. Bowgun. I think it's one word, right? Bowgun. So, we're not gonna do this long far. We're gonna make this 1 to 2 range. And let's make this like, I don't know. Can you get your mother to work on the hack for you? No. My mother wouldn't know how to hack. She's not very good around technology. She's very much a boomer in that regard. Let's do 15, maybe? Yeah. Not quite sure how much the bowgun weighs. Let me look that up. FE10 bowgun. Yeah, it has 24 might, but I think that's a little bit too much for FE9. Hit YouTuber Lonely Fisherman, so true. 12 weight, honestly, that is fine. We'll make it 16. With 40 uses. And it costs 2,000, that's... Like what, 50? No. Yeah, I can't really do math right now. I don't know, my brain is just... Math is not working in my brain right now. 2,000 divided by 40. 50, okay, no, I was correct actually. I just wasn't sure I was correct. So we're gonna use the SH tag, which is for... I think it is for fixed damage. And we can make this one a D rank weapon. They don't have any rank in Radiant Dawn, but that's just because they're like an additional weapon type. They're not counted as a bow. So... 3 weapon XP. We'll do something like this. I think this is fine. Yeah. And then we'll add a couple... Did I already add a... No, I did not. We're gonna copy the data of this. I'm not changing the description for now until I have something better. Then one other crossbow I want is the Chukonu. Berwick bros know what's up. The Chukonu. And what the Chukonu does is, well, in Berwick Saga it attacks 4 times at once. But I can't really do that here, so I'm just gonna make it a brave crossbow. Does FE9 have the tech to make a weapon not use your strength? Yes, it does. It definitely does somewhere, and I think it's used for the ballistas. I'm pretty sure it's used for that. And I think it's the SH trait that does it. What the fuck is... Oh, there's the brave bow. Yeah, twice is what it's called. So we're just gonna make it a brave crossbow. And we're gonna make it quite heavy. Can you make con actually relevant? I wouldn't really know how to. I'm gonna be honest with you on that. I don't know. I hate FE9, but I'm glad you're actually working on it and making breakthroughs on it. I'm trying. I'm gonna make Smellius no longer... After I'm done with this oof, you will like Smellius. Mia is already a chapter 1 character. Right, we have the Chukunu. What else can we do? Let's think about ideas for tomes. I mean, fire is already effective against beasts. Yeah, like those things remain. What could be some special effects or tomes? Maybe like effectiveness against other things. Wyu. Yes, Wyu, and she's called Wyu. Thunder Strong versus Armor. What I was considering is making a Thunder Tome, which is also effective against flyers. And then maybe like Fire could be effective against armor. And then Wind can, like, I don't know, push the rider off their horse or something. And that's why it's effective against riders. Because there's not really many things you can be effective against. And unlike FE10, I don't think I can make new effectiveness tables. Fire versus calves, thunder versus armor, wind against flyers. Well, wind is already effective against flyers, that's the thing. All wind tomes already are. Fire versus mounts. But what do you do with wind then? What do you think about vibrance? Do you prefer FE10 effectiveness against them? Yeah, I'm actually considering doing that because I really hate the Vibrant class in most FE games. The only FE game where I really liked it was Berwick Saga. Because they were actually balanced there, or the one you got was actually balanced there. Still felt very strong like a Vibrant should, but not so overpowered that they just soloed the entire game, like Milady. Let's... Make Wind Brave with really no might. See, the issue is, if I do that, I'm gonna have to make the other tomes much stronger. Because the difference between wind and fire, or even wind and thunder in damage, is not that much. And even if I reduce its might to 0, it's only 4 or 3 or 4 might. So either I reduce the magic of all mages across the board, and then increase the might of the tomes, and then I could maybe make it brave. Or, you know what I can do? I can make a brave wind tome. I can make a brave wind tome. Let's do that. It doesn't have to be for all of them. What would a brave wind tome be called? Let's give it 3 might. Like 85 hit. We can make it relatively heavy at 5, honestly. Gale Wind. Okay, that works. Gale Wind, Hurricane, Second Wind. Like A-rank magic tomes for each with distinct uses. I was thinking just B-rank for these. Windstorm. Windstorm also works, I think. Okay, so we have Gale Wind. Then let's copy over Elfire. And let's copy over Elf Thunder. Just to use as a base. And then I guess we can add a custom light tome as well. Thunder could be 30-40 crit. And fire just high might and hit. Yeah, I guess I can do that. But, well, I want to add even more tomes than just these ones, so... Let's do, let's make a really strong one. Or let's make this be one of the effective types. Actually, let's make a really strong Thunder Tome, I guess. No. Because thunder is supposed to be the axe of the anima triangle. Mjolnir, Thoron are already crit heavy for thunder. Yeah. 3-range tome. I really don't like 3-range tomes normally. But I think if I'm gonna use 3-range tomes for anything, it's gonna be light magic. I already have a light, a dark magic tome. But the thing is, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but FE9 doesn't have dark magic. It straight up doesn't exist. So... I don't remember what I called, I think Kashmir or Kashmar, something like this. I think this was like French for nightmare, as in like with a knight in armor. I don't quite remember how it is spelled, but I'm just gonna use this for now, just so I have any idea, any ID. And we can make this one 1-3 range. And I made it poison. I made it very low might, but it poisons. And it has 1-3 range. Kushmar. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It might have been spelled like that. I just remembered something. Something like that. Let me just use that. Kushmar. Wait. I won't see. Yeah. Kashmar. Because it's quite funny actually. The word Kashmar exists in Russian, but it is like it has a different meaning. It means like, let's say like making a mess, I think it was. Or like when you say like, oh shit, like you could say Kashmar, blядь. I think I'm actually not quite sure, but it's something along those lines. My Russian is not perfect. Right, what was the poison one? Okay, it's literally just called poison. Amazing. And we'll give it 2 might. I think I made it relatively high hit. Yeah. What effects are available for weapons other than effectiveness and brave? Everything you see in the game, essentially. I mean, we can go through it. Brave is twice. Door break effectiveness. Effectiveness against Lagoos. Not being able to crit, giving bonus stats. JH. Oh, this is the one for nobles, and this is the one that you get. Not sure what JH means. A lot of them have weird names. Unbreakable. Is there a reason why weapons have a trait in the 4th slot when there are nothing else? I have no clue. Absolutely no clue. Non-art? I have no clue what that means either. Move twice. It can give Canto when equipped. Seal effective effects. Lick. I think Lagoos? Effectiveness sealed. Yeah, because the description on these is wrong. This one just makes it so you don't take effective damage. the effective. Effective. Effectiveness of Lagoose weapons. Something like that, I don't know. Yeah, the description is straight up wrong. It says that it reduces the damage of all humans in half, but what it actually does is it just makes it so you don't take effective damage from Lagoose weapons. The Lagoose Guard, on the other hand, does half the damage received from Lagoose attacks. Yeah. I'll just leave it like this. I can change it at some other time. So I think for this we're just gonna make a very, yeah, you know what? We're gonna do 5 and we're gonna give this one 30 crit, 65 hit, 20 uses. Let's do 7. Is Beast only really Beast only, or is it Lagoose only? Well, Lagoose are Beast. The in-game terminology was created when they weren't quite sure what to call them yet, I think. So they just called it Beast only when they mean Lagoose only. But I wouldn't know, like, everything that counts as a Beast is a Lagoose as far as I know. Yeah, so this can be, what can be a Thunder Tome with a lot of crit? Give me some names, guys. I wanted to do I guess Mjolnir. Yeah, I can do Mjolnir. Mjolnir. Like, you will notice... Oh, that already exists as Rexbolt. So I guess we're not calling it Mjolnir. We're gonna call it... What was the other one? Thoron? Does Thoron exist? Thoron also already exists. Thunderstorm? That's bolting. Oh man. Lightning doesn't sound strong enough. Thunderbolt, that can work. Yeah, that's not in. Thunderbolt. Okay. Zapper? I kinda like Zapper. Zapper sounds pretty cool. Zappy. Zapper. Actually, let me delete that first. I'm not sure you need to, but I do it just in case. A Zapper. Right, we have the Zapper Tome, and then we can make this. Seventh, can you remind me, what was the really strong Fire Tome called in Berwick Saga? Was it just Bolganon? The one that you can forge, I think, or craft? Thornus A rank, it's also 18 might with 20 crits, so crit Thunder Tome isn't really all that special, sadly. Well, the thing is, Thoron you get later, and I can always rework it. Don't edit the Zapper Tome while in the shower cleaning Smellius. So true. Because this one I think I will just do like a lot of damage. Like, and you're right, Tiwaz, the Thoron tome is already has a lot of crit and might, but the Thoron is an A rank tome that you get later. The Zapper I could make a tome that you get more often, or that's maybe a bit cheaper. Hellfire, I think it was Hellfire. Earthblaze was, I think, something else, and I think I can't really make an animation for that. Just go to Arcrat. Well, these are going to be custom ones. These are going to be, like, not just stronger tomes. So we'll do this, and we'll just give this... I don't know. Let's give it 16 might. 80 hit. But we'll make it like 10 weight. Just not that special of an identity. Well, for now I think it works. Quite sure what to do with the other ones. Earthblaze is forged. Hellfire you can buy in the Variant Temple. I think Hellfire sounds cooler though. Pyroclasm? What the fuck is a pyroclasm? That sounds like a mental condition or related to fire. Drinking my wormwood tea here. Oh, so bitter. I think I'll probably call it a day here. I don't really know what else to add, and I'm feeling the etymology comes down to broken fire. I mean, that works, but the fire is not really broken. It's just a lot. I think I'll just leave it like this for now. Added a couple more weapons. I'm pretty sure chapter 5 is done now. I just need to complete it and then move on to the next one. Isn't it a busted tome? Broken Fire, Rose, so true. Pyroblast. It all works, but I think I like Hellfire for now. I'm probably gonna add more and more tomes though as time goes on. Yeah, so I'll only finish this chapter here. I don't feel like doing anything more. Just need to test the Dakova dialogue. What I'll do is I'll do it the lazy way. I won't waste time testing it now because I'll have to test it later anyways when I decide to play through this again. I'm just gonna release this ROM right here, the beta ROM, on the development server. And if anybody wants to test it, they can. If not, I'll test it later. Okay, let's save it. Yeah. So we only finished chapter 5 for the most part today, but I'm honestly fine with that. I think it feels to be in a relatively good position now. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Have a good night. Bye bye.